What is down, everybody? It is your main course, Hello Pancake. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a banger in store for you and for me and for all of humanity. We are talking about a fish, Barreleye fish. This is a fish, a kind of a broad fish. No, not like wide fish. I mean like a. Not much is known about said aquatic animal. It's one of the deeper fellas, you know, a little rare, kind of hides from people, you know. The barreleye fish is in the family Opisthoproctidae. 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 That's what I'm going with. So that's the family. That's not species. There are different species of this, but in general, the species are similar, you know. And genus is similar as well. You got that. But today, like I said, not much is known. We don't have that much to cover. We're going to talk about the name and the taxonomy a little bit. We're going to talk about its habitat. We're going to talk about the characteristics that it possesses and its behaviors. So strap in, sit down, get you some potato chips or something. Get you some. I tell you what, these slap. These are very good. These dill pickle chips. Get you some of them. Get you a Dr. Pepper, and let's ride. So, starting with the name and taxonomy of the barreleye fish. Another common name for it is the spook fish, because it's kind of spooky. I think. I don't know. It didn't give me a reason for that name. That was just my reasoning. The name of the family, the Opisthoproctidae, is derived from two Greek words, meaning behind anus. I don't know what the Greeks have been up to, you know? I'm not sure what it is, why they're infatuated by fish anuses, but to each their own, I suppose, you know? You do you. The family is divided up into three main subsects, and this is based strictly off of kind of appearance, what they look like. So there is the stout and deep-bodied, so kind of like a little shorter, a little thicker, a little girthier. This would be the Opisthoproctis, and Macropina would be examples of this. Then you've got the slender and elongated. So this is a little bit longer, a little bit thinner, a little bit less girthy, tube-like in a way. Examples of these would be Dolichopteryx and Bathylichnops. Who comes up with these names, man? I tell you. And then the final of the three subdivided sections is an intermediate fusiform. I forgot what fusiform meant. So the fusiform basically means that it instead of this, it's going to be like that. You know, like that. Do you get what I mean? It's going to have like that and then taper off. Instead of like that, it's going to be like that. More of a tapering off. So examples of that, beautifully explained. I tell you, that was amazing. I articulate myself so well. Rhynchohialis and Wintera. And that's all we've really got for name and taxonomy. Honestly, not too much in that sector. Now we'll move on to habitat, which there's also not much in this section. They are a deep sea dweller. They don't come up to the surface. They don't hang out with the dolphins and the stingrays. They prefer tropical and temperate waters, so you won't be finding them swimming around Santa in the North Pole or hanging out with the penguins in the South Pole. They're going to be more centralized. Latitudinally. It's not a word. They can be found in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Ocean. And the depths that they tend to stay is between 400 and 2,500 meters deep, which is pretty deep. That's pretty much all we've got for habitat. Now, let's get into characteristic. This thing looks weird. I mean, just look at it. This guy probably got bullied in school. I mean, in fish school, He probably wasn't the cool kid. I'll be honest. Feels bad. But their eyes are barrel shaped, which is where they get the Barreleye name from, but it's kind of like a tubular type of eye. They're actually directed upwards. So like when they're sitting like this, their eyes are looking up, which is peculiar, but they do that to search for prey above them, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the behavior, their hunting tactic. They are capable of kind of like directing their eyes forward, but they don't do this very often. Their eyes kind of protrude from their head. They have very large eyes that kind of pop out a little bit, kind of stick away. They are protected by that dome of a soft, transparent tissue that kind of covers the eyes, protects. And there's a kind of hypothesized reason for this that we'll get into. So another thing is their eyes have very large like lenses, of course, because they have large eyes. That makes sense. And a very high density of rod cells. So the rod cells in your eyes are used pretty much to see in the dark. Those are very integral in differentiating color in a darker environment. Makes sense why they would have a lot, because they're so deep underwater. There's not much light coming through. And this is further backed up by the fact that they have no cone cells in their eyes. And cone cells are basically the opposite of rod cells. They are used to differentiate color in a more light environment, like what we are in. We have lots of cone cells in our eyes, and they are used to differentiate different colors. As you have seen in each picture, they have those heads. You got some dome heads. You know, they got the well-rounded dome-like heads that are transparent. The theory on why their heads are kind of transparent the way they are is so that it allows more light to enter and penetrate into their eyes, but it still, protects the eyes. So there's that. There is one species that uses both a mirror and a lens to focus images in its eyes. So like it has a mirror in its eyes and a lens in its eyes, and it's like the only species that does that ever, which is peculiar. They don't have teeth, so there's that. Coloration wise, it varies slightly amongst species, but for the most part they are a kind of darkish brown color, and they're covered in silvery type scales, except for the Dolichopteryx. They do not have the same types of scales. Their scales are, I don't think they have scales at all. They also, some of the species have luminous organs, so they can kind of light up the night, be the life of the party. This would be used most likely in hunting tactics to kind of draw prey into the light. And then as for their size, the Bathylicnops axilis is the largest species by a substantial margin. They grow up to 20 inches, and pretty much all other species stay under 10 inches, and on average they're about 6 inches in length. Now, let's get into a little bit of behavior. How have you been behaving lately? Hopefully well. They are a solitary creature. They don't hang out in gangs very often. They tend to stay right below the limit of light. So think of how far light penetrates water. They usually stay right under that. As for their reproduction, they are pelagic spawners, which pretty much what this means is egg and sperm are just released into the water. The male, when it's mating season, which I don't know when it is. No, I couldn't find mating season for them. But when it is mating season, the males just let loose, let it out into the water, and females just let a lot of eggs out into the water, and by chance, presumably. The egg and sperm kind of just bump into each other, and now you got a little baby. So that happens, and then once an egg is fertilized, it becomes buoyant and kind of just drifts with the currents. They spend their adolescence in shallower water, and once they metamorphosize, which is pretty crazy that they metamorphosize, they descend into the deep, dark depths that their mammy and pappy live in. As for their diet, eat pretty much mostly zooplankton. They do this by hovering in the water. This is what they use their fins for. They kind of just, but they're looking up, so they're just kind of like, Another thing that is kind of expected, they don't really know this, but they are suspected to steal prey, such as crustaceans, from siphonophores, which a siphonophore is kind of like a jellyfish type guy. It's kind of like a tentacly fella, and they do sting. So that is what people think the kind of eye protection is mainly useful for, is these little stinging fellas. They can go up and not get their eyes stung, and can steal food from them. So pretty nifty. As I mentioned at the beginning, not much is known. These guys are rare. They are not easy to find. In a report of over 5,600 remote control dives, the barreleye fish was only encountered 9 times. Now, let me do the math here. I'm not sure, but I think 9 out of 5,600. 0.16%. Pretty good odds. 0.16%. I'll take those chances. Any day. That's all I got for you for the barreleye. As I said, not that much is known about this fella. He's a peculiar looking guy. I like to find peculiar looking fellas. Social standards, beautiful animals get all the press. I like to highlight the underdog. I like to give them a hand up instead of a hand out. Spread the word. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to smash like. Make sure to subscribe. Sources are in the description, as always. Let me know what you think of the barreleye, and if you have any peculiar animals that you would like me to talk about, research, and get back to you on, let me know. I'd be more than happy. I'll take any suggestions. I'll take them, and I'll consider them, and I'll probably do them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Try to make someone else's day better. Alright? There's a lot of people out there going through stuff. I mean, we're all going through stuff, of course. But there's a lot of people that just a simple, how's it going? A simple gesture to show that you care. This is what they really need. So, be wary, be mindful, and make the world a better place. Thank you guys so much, and I will see all y'all